I am at Smoking Treasures here in Huntsville Valley. Gonna learn how to grow cannabis.
Hello.
Hi.
You here for the class?
Yes.
Right over there.
Alright. Alrighty. We are here. Hey, how's it going, bro?
You doing, man?
Good.
How you
Hey,
been?
how you doing?
We got outside. Nice. Definitely be good to.
So I have made it officially here to the class. That is our teacher for today.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's yours.
I missed all the other classes, so I'm obviously the new class student here.
Same thing, lollipopping.
So take the bottoms off.
Yes. So like you're just kind of looking like this.
Hold on, y'all, I need to drink this water.
So you're,
There.
yeah, you're gonna take all of the branches and all the little things out, just so you can. Well, one's gonna put all that energy on the top, and two, it just makes it a lot easier to go into.
You know what the funny thing? I know you know your shit and it's probably the right thing, but it makes it look like a Charlie Brown tree after you do that.
When you did, yeah.
Oh, it's a big switch.
Yeah.
But I trimmed
Yeah.
it,
How you doing?
but I didn't trim it enough, is what he's saying.
You right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, she's Road King, Road King out of 10. Actually made the cover.
There's our Black Widow.
Got that. And then
Black Widow mother
she's
plant.
got a rocker. Yeah. I got Indian Chieftain, and then she's got a Sportster L lowered.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so it came like a cruiser, came with a
Very
windshield,
interesting.
lowered, and we had,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys been out quite a bit lately?
but not when it's hot. But we've
Yeah.
ridden all over the United States. I mean, we've ridden up to Sturgis.
Oh, nice.
Sturgis. We've done Toronto, Canada, Niagara Falls. We've done Laconia,
Yeah.
Vermont.
I don't want to touch it because I
But not
don't
for the
know.
bike.
If it has buds on it or whatever.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Get
North Carolina,
sticky shit on my
bunch.
fingers.
Yeah.
Once you go to Sturgis, ain't no other bike week. We do a lot of bike weeks.
Damn, this is what it looks like
Yeah. How
naturally.
far was that from here?
1,800.
And I'm about to learn how to grow this shit myself.
Let me tell you something. The first night we left,
Don't cap.
going home, we left like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
We did about 700 miles that day, right into the Indiana and Pennsylvania border.
Yeah.
And the next day we weren't worth a shit.
Yeah.
We got up, we weren't worth a shit. We did about 250, 300 miles, and then we were averaging about 500 miles a day.
Yeah. That's a goal.
700 miles on a motorcycle in one day is a lot of freaking miles.
Whoa.
That's no joke.
Hear that?
How comfortable your seat is.
Now you gotta be ass ready for that kind of ride.
Yeah.
Wow.
You still ain't ass ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna go back, hopefully, God willing, one more time. Yeah, we don't trailer run it, we ride everywhere we go.
Yeah.
This is just a bunch of common pests and bugs that you'll find in Maryland. The biggest ones being like the fungus gnats everybody has. Thrips, very common. They're the ones that are mining through your leaves. So I'm just putting this here. So a little bit of like leaf miner damage.
Oh,
Not super like bad for your plant, but really where it becomes a problem is that if the thrips start to infest your plants, it'll lower the immune system of your plants, so they become more susceptible to things like powdery mildew and other pathogens. So, thank you for coming to my 5th class. We are doing bloom. We are getting ready to switch our plants from veg into bloom. So really, all I'm going to be doing is a lot of trimming. I'm going to trim the hell out of this thing. I'm going to get rid of most of its fan leaves and just get it ready to just start kicking into its blooming phase. So I'm going to change the lights from 18 hours of light and 6 hours of dark to 12 and 12. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off. It's to mimic how the days get shorter during like when winter starts to come. So so after about, I'm saying, when's the summer solstice that I think just happened?
Last month, 21st.
Yeah, something like that. So since then, days have been getting shorter and shorter. So once it gets to about the 14-hour mark of daylight is when the plant really starts to notice the change and will start to bloom. So you'll start to see the white hairs, like where you're seeing like on the tips, and like where you see branches coming out, you're going to start seeing bud locations. So those bud locations are just going to just tell you where the buds are going to start forming. Trying to keep them at the top. Anything that's going to be at the bottom, like 25% of the plant, it's not really going to grow all that dense. It's going to be airy. We call it larfy weed. So this is another reason why I would just trim it off and then just get rid of it, keeping everything good for the canopy. So basically, yeah, this one is a very bushy plant, but what I'm going to be doing here is basically just coming through and just cutting off most of these fan leaves. Also, I'm going to get rid of any browning, any dead leaves in here, just because of how dense this plant was. It's definitely more dense than I've had plants grow in the past. As I do this, really just cleans up the plant.
Yeah.
At this point, I'll sit here and I'll spend about half an hour on a single plant. So
Wow.
you can imagine people having hundreds of plants, requiring a lot of work. I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to slowly be rotating it. Oh yeah, no, it's going to look very different to when you first came in here. And another good signifier for growing, when you're growing indoors, when to switch over a plant is when the plant is growing to about half the size of your tent now. So if you got an 8-foot tent, right around the 4.5 foot mark is a good, if you don't remember like when you start growing your plant, just going from height is also a good signifier of what you could do to, what's the word?
And you do the same for outside too?
Yes. I don't have to do it quite as much for the outdoors because, well, actually no. I know. I'm sorry. There would be no difference between outdoors or indoors. It would just be trimming away, keeping the inner leaves, but for the most part, a lot of these fan leaves, especially leaves that are covering bud sites, this might be a little difficult for me to do it up there, so I'm actually going to put it over around. Wet spot. I'm going to do this down here.
How long did it take for it to grow this height?
So I started this plant in March.
March. Damn.
Yeah, March. Yeah. About mid-March is when I started this plant.
And how much is it supposed to yield? At
Depending on the strain and size of your plant. So since I'm growing in a 8-foot tent, just a 2x4, I could fit about 2 plants in there comfortably. I would say, depending on the size of the plant, getting about 3 to 6 ounces.
Nice.
So within 2 grows, 2 to 3
one
grows, your room will pay for itself. Absolutely, every
Dope.
time. Especially if you're the 2 biggest things that you're going to should be spending most of your money on is going to be your light and the tent itself. The tent itself, you don't have to get. I would not get the cheapest of the cheap. The cheapest of the cheap are going to have harmful chemicals used in their like mylar, like the reflective stuff that's inside of the tent, and that could off gas and harm your plants. Otherwise, best thing, some of the really cheap like mylar reflective stuff that's inside these tents will start to
Effective, like
flake off.
Yeah, that's
flake
what I
off.
figured, yeah.
They'll get into your blood, and you don't want to be smoking mylar. You don't want to be smoking any of the plastic
Wow.
stuff. So, things like Gorilla Grow tents, Mars Hydro, Ace Grow. I've seen a lot of really good ones out there. Just don't go for the cheap of the cheap. So, but you can find a really nice 2x4 for 250-ish area, 250, 300. Some in like the 160s area is pretty good.
I've gotten a good, like, I think it was like Black Friday deal.
That too, yeah. Waiting for Black Friday deals and
what website did you get it from?
Actually, I think I got my first one on Amazon.
On Amazon?
Yeah, but it
Amazon
was
would
like,
have a lot of good stuff.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just
Amazon.
like he said, make sure like this material is really thick and
Yeah.
good, and you can tell someone is.
Yeah, you want stuff that's insulated. You want a good. Also, looking at the zipper, you want a bigger, chunkier zipper. You don't want like a small fabric zipper, just because you're going to be opening and closing that thing constantly.
Okay.
The zipper is going to. I've had guys buy like tents and like they're just getting a new one because the zipper breaks on it.
Wow.
Kind of thing. So like everything else is perfect on it,
But the zipper broke.
breaks, and that's just.
And you can't even fix the zipper.
No.
Wow.
That's
That's when I got the
Copy.
like
Y'all hear that? It be simple things like that.
you want like when they say a robust zipper in like the like the descriptions of the product kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely something you want
It's
to
a
look for.
Yeah, check out the reviews.
Yeah,
if anybody
yeah.
mentions,
Copy.
Absolutely, things like that are very important.
You know, like Rob, he saw my tent and he was like, "Oh man, that's a good one," and they were sold out. He was gonna get one because it was such a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some Gorilla Grow tents that we're doing a good deal on. We'll definitely work on that 4x4 that we have in there, and we still have one more 2x4 grow set that we're still selling here. That would be discounted if you were to get it. Anyone in the class is welcome to a 10% discount to anything in the shop.
Awesome. SmokingTreasures.com.
Treasures, baby. All right, so this is going to take the bulk of the class. It's just me going to be just sitting here trimming. I'm going to try to get the top so I can set it back up here and still do it that way, but this thing is bushy as hell. And it's
So, just
probably going to take a while.
Another question. What you're trimming right now is actual cannabis.
No, well, these are the leaves. I'm just trimming off the fan leaves.
Okay.
So like this is known as a cola. The cola is what is going to actually grow the buds. The buds are going to start coming in these spots down here. You're going to start seeing little white hairs popping up.
Oh.
And from there, the flower starts to form, and it's going to just take over the whole head nug. Well, that's why they call it a head nug, but they're known as colas.
Oh, cool.
Cola. Yeah. And so that's what
I've seen people like hang it upside down. Is that a...
So that's what you're going to do when you dry it. When you're drying it, I basically just chop the whole plant at the bottom, and I'll just hang it in a tent. Try to keeping the temperature at 60 degrees and 60% humidity is the sweet spot. But then you do that for 2 weeks. And then what you want to do is a snap test. So when it's hanging upside down, you'll take like a branch, one of the offshoot branches, and snap it.
Okay.
If you audibly hear a crack, but stays on the plant, then it's perfect. You are ready to take that plant off. You can bucket, meaning you'll rough trim the head nugs off, and then you'll put that in a Tupperware or mason jar or whatever you want to cure it in. Curing is the next stage of drying. So you'll chop it upside down, hang it upside down, and dry it that way. But then you'll take the nugs off the stalk itself, and then you'll put that in a airtight container, and then you'll just be opening the lid once or twice a day for the next 2 weeks, and that's called burping. That's just to equalize that's just to equalize the oxygen exchange as the plant is drying. Because the whole point of drying is to allow the chloroform that's in the chlorophyll that's in the leaves and the buds to off gas, to just evaporate. So that's actually what's giving you. If you've ever smoked bud that smells like grass or just tastes bitter, it's because there's a lot of chlorophyll still in the buds, and you're smoking live plant. So this is
that is so interesting. What do you mean live plant?
I mean,
that shit right there.
yeah,
Oh.
they're smoking like what's making these things green.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the chlorophyll, like you're literally smoking grass, like from the lung.
I can say I've smoked a lot of grass in my life by accident. Yo, that's crazy.
For these plants.
It's not great, but since they've been started outside and are outside, they're a lot hardier. They're climatized to the sun right now, so they're doing good. The only thing that I could recommend is during these super hot days, if the UV index gets above like 11 or 12, I think we'll start to actually.
So we could put them like under a breezeway. We have a breezeway with a roof and all.
Absolutely perfect, and then just put them out when the sun's not as intense. Yeah,
so
so
got like a shade netting. Not sorry to interrupt, but like the
shade
garden.
netting. Yep, shade tarp, shade netting. Yeah, absolutely. If you're using, just standing pots and you didn't have it sowed directly into the ground.
No, ours is in pots.
Yeah, if they're in pots, then absolutely move them to a shadier area just during the really sunny times. Yeah, the hot time of day kind of thing.
How long did you recommend to cure it after it was in the jar?
2 weeks, but
2
you
weeks.
can 2 weeks, but you can do it as long as you want, honestly.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll keep it rough trim in a bin for up to a year, honestly.
Okay.
Up to a year left in, like a basement condition, so like somewhat of a 60 to 70 constant degrees with lowish humidity. Try to keep it low. Yeah, try to keep it low, but you can keep bud for up to about a year. THC actually starts to break down into what's called CBN. CBN is the sleepy time effect. So if you're growing indicas, that's why you would leave that on the plant. You would let them go a little longer than you would a sativa to allow the THC to age and turn into CBN, which will give you that sleepy time effect.
Wow.
So great for indicas. That's why when you're harvesting, you're going to be looking for the trichomes. So when trichomes first are formed, they're going to look like clear dewdrops. They're going to look like little does. As they go, they're going to start to get milky. And this is actually what you're looking for when you're harvesting a sativa. Sativas, you want like 99% milky and maybe a few percent amber. So this.
How do you test that?
So we have little bud scopes or like a jeweler's eye kind of thing. You get right up on the actual like bud.
Yo, I thought this was gonna be easy, bro.
Well, we got them here. We got
That's
those. They're known as bud scopes. So some of them.
This is what it takes.
Oh, this is to get it good.
But like once you
you can grow bud. I mean, but if you really want to get into the science, you really get into
To get the real science.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want some real science weed. I don't want no more.
I'll tell you.
You don't want no more of that, right?
Yeah, I don't want grass.
Exactly.
That's my.
And I'll get you from seed to harvest.
Yeah, and then.
You
this
learned from
guy
this
in
class?
Yeah.
Nice.
This guy in the back is the same, like a clone for what he's got. That
Yeah.
big
Dog.
guy.
Wait, you grew that yourself?
Yeah, from seed. Yeah, first time.
What's
Where'd you
just
buy the
another
seeds from?
Just stuff. I came from like Tennessee, so just like.
Do you have a
Stuff
website?
I've seen.
Is it a website?
No,
Oh.
no, just stuff I kept from like stuff I smoked.
Oh.
Finding like dispensary bud.
Wait,
Yeah.
can you do that?
Oh yeah, if you find seeds in your bud, hell
always
yeah,
keep
there's
it.
nothing wrong. Yeah.
For sure, keep it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can find some real gems that way. You find
Yeah.
like they're trying not to have seeds in those buds,
Oh,
but when
sure.
if you find seeds in
Oh
like a
my
dispensary,
god. Seeds
like,
used to be
bud
like the
store,
things
man.
we used to rap about, like, oh, we don't got no seeds in our weed. Now you telling me it's a treasure? What? Yo, that's crazy.
Well, that's another thing. If you were getting if it was really seedy bud, very likely what happened is that plant was either a hermaphrodite or a male plant got near it. So hermaphroditic plants they grow both buds and they grow pollen sacs. The pollen sacs is what is going to turn a male. Is what's going to actually create the seeds. Don't know. One second.
There's a lot to this shit to do with the right.
No cap, bruh.
For buds that we smoke are only from the female plants. So if you get a male plant and you'll start to see these pollen sacs, that will eventually explode and release pollen everywhere. As the pollen the pollen gets airborne, it'll actually get stuck on the sticky trichomes, and so that actually retracts the pollen spore into the plant, and that's actually where a seed site will form. So that's actually how you're also making your own strains. That's how you keep a strain going, kind of thing. If you have a male and a female of the same strain, you want to pinpoint a specific genetic kind of thing.
Okay. I was about to ask that.
So that's how you make your own strains, but what you're looking for are the hairs.
Is the hairs.
That's what you want. If you have hairs and pollen sacs, then you have a hermaphrodite. And honestly, your best course of action is to just kill it.
Kill it.
Kill it. You do not want any hermaphrodites because one, it will seed itself, and any plant you try to grow from those seeds already have the hermaphroditic gene very prominently in those genetics. So it would it's a waste of time.
Wow.
It's a complete waste of time. You'll just be dealing with a lot of hermaphrodites, and it'll require you to be on your game, because if one hermaphroditic plant just pollinates your entire room, you're fucked. All of your bud gets seed. Everything
gets that
everything
gene.
gets seeds.
Yeah, that bad gene.
That's why
holy shit.
if you're growing weed for the buds, you only want the females. That's why if you're getting clones, it's going to be cloned from a female plant, or your buddy ripped you off. Or didn't know.
No, didn't know.
One of the two.
Yeah, seed's the only thing. If you get a clone, it's like for sure gonna be.
Okay.
If you get it from a reputable person, they're not trying to fuck you over.
Okay.
But I have made that mistake one time by getting too excited and selling a clone from a plant that actually did turn out to be male, and that was unfortunate. So always. If you are going to sell your clones or give your clones away, make sure that you know the sex of your plant. And unfortunately, for a lot of strains, a lot of plants won't show you whether it's a male or female until it starts the bloom phase, which is 4 months down the line.
Okay. Is this a current bloom phase?
Well, this is about to be. But this one, I know it's a female because I cloned it from a female plant.
A female plant.
So that just tells me it already is.
I just wanted to see an example of what a bloom phase looked like.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm just going to keep going through here, taking off all of these fan leaves. It's better to use scissors instead of just pinching it off. I like doing that just to save time sometimes, but at the same time, scissors are a little better, just because it's less stressful on the plant. It's like, think of it as like you're pulling their hair out. So if you're yanking it out, it's going to feel that more than if you just snip it off kind of thing. And it's just
get some bloom phase.
It feels more like a trim, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's easier on the plant. You will notice that the leaves don't droop as much because the plant's not gonna it's not gonna like when I'm done with it.
All right.
Put it back up here.
How did that one recover? They got roasted.
Oh yeah, how was that? The one from last time that got roasted?
Not good.
Not good.
So unfortunately, it's still in there. It didn't do so much better, but I'm going to show you what to do in that case. So like, if you ever have a plant that just you wanted to bring back and it just never came back, your best bet is to the parts that did come back, and were green and happy, take those and clone them. And then that's your best course of action. Although, unfortunately, it's not worth it to spend your time in repairing a plant, especially when you have one that's still as good as this, and I'm going to keep it on schedule by blooming it sooner. if I were to go by that smaller plant, and that was the only one I had, I would have had veg go longer. So just giving it more time to come back, but it never did, and I've run out of time. So we're just gonna go with the stopgap of taking clones of the already still green parts of the plant, and then praying that those clones come back and are, work out.
Yeah.
Other than that, unfortunately, that one, it wants to come back, but it's just not doing it in the time frame that I want it to.
Right.
And it's just not worth it at this point. So yeah, just keep going by getting.
Is it cool if we try snipping one of these?
If you like, I'll let you do some.
Hey.
Alright, so what I want you to do is see these fan leaves. Something like this.
Yeah.
Snip. Something like in here, snip. But just be careful.
I only snip like two. I just want to feel what you do.
Yeah, find a good leaf, nice big fan leaf, and then just snip
This
it
is a
off.
nice
So
fan
like,
leaf right here.
Something like that. Yeah, that would be a good one. That'd be a good one. And you're just gonna be, I'm just gonna be slowly rotating this plant out, getting some of like the interior nodes and buds. Oh yeah.
You're just doing that so fast, yo. That would take me
Practice.
forever.
Dude,
What?
let me tell you.
Trying to be perfect, trying to not hurt or
Well,
traumatize the
and
plant.
That's the other thing. So, like, these plants are pretty hardy. It takes a lot to really damage them. At the same time, you do want to baby them.
Yeah.
You want to baby them as much as possible. But this is definitely a.
Like, look how he just snapped that. I just looking at it just now when I was trying to cut it.
Going up the thing. I don't want
crazy.
too much growth growing in the middle of the plant because it's shady down here. It's not really going to get too much light anyway. So anything that does grow down here is going to be airy. It's not going to be very, very potent. And at the same time, I can grab my final clones. So I'll put some aside.
So what do you do with these? You just plant them?
Here, I'll show you. So what I'm going to do with these guys, so he's a little scraggly, but something, oh, that's a little better. So as you see these spots here, these are known as nodes. So this would be where leaves would come up. When you're making clones, you want to have at least 3 of them. So when you have something with a lot of internodal spacing, is what it's known.
Internodal.
Internodal spacing means that you have a lot more likelihood of this plant, of this clone to actually root itself. So what I would do is I'm going to cut it diagonally right at this point. I'm going to grab some peat moss plugs and some rooting gel. I'm going to dip this part of the plant in the rooting gel and then stick it in a peat moss plug, and then I'll keep that in a humidity dome for about 2 to 3 weeks, and that plug that's going to be there, that peat moss plug, is going to start growing roots, and that root ball, you just put it right in dirt and you got yourself another plant in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's how you're going to be.
But it takes 2 weeks to see some
2 to
results.
3 weeks. Well, 2 to 3 weeks just to see the roots, and then another 2 to 3 weeks if those roots actually, start growing in a new pot of, soil kind of thing. So.
And you grow multiple at the same time, right? Like you put that. Okay.
Yeah, it's better to keep things growing at the same time rather than at different stages, unless you have different grow tents or areas to put them in.
Starting this is definitely a time investment. That's what I'm learning.
It's a 6-month investment unless you're doing autoflowers. Autoflowers will grow in 4 months rather than 6 months, but it will only be like a 3 to 4 foot tall plant.
You said autoflowers?
Autoflowers. So it is a type. So cannabis was like the cannabis plant was mixed with a cousin of cannabis called ruderalis. Ruderalis is basically ditchweed. You'll find that out in the along the highway. It grows super fast, super scraggly, but it is within the same plant family as cannabis. So they used it to splice with high yield female plants. Spliced it with the ruderalis, and the ruderalis, they would start to breed autoflowers, which would have the characteristics of the bud from the mother plants, but have the speed of the male plant, being the ruderalis, or the male.
And is it still cannabis?
It's still cannabis, but it could be honestly, yeah, no, it's still good bud. It depends on where you get it and who grows it. You can still get some really good stuff from it.
God.
It's just it's smaller plants, and arguably less quality. So like,
okay, that's all I needed to hear to not go for that.
so like,
yeah.
honestly, it's a great learning experience. So if like you are starting if you've never grown before, and your first plant that you ever grow was an autoflower, that's actually pretty good. Just to get your feet wet, just to understand like what you're gonna use, and like just a good trial run. Of
sounds
like
good,
actually. Just a proof of concept.
I don't.
Thing.
Like,
just say
if it smelled good, and I'll be like, hey, I did something.
If you didn't want to, if you didn't want to just spend hundreds of dollars on, super primo seeds of like some exotic strain that you smoked once, and you thought it was the best strain in the world, kind of thing, and you try growing it.
And it dies.
And you end up killing it.
I'd be so mad.
I've done that. I did that when I was young, when I was first starting to grow buds. I spent like $200 or $300 with a buddy of mine on a bunch of seeds that we found on the internet, and we ended up killing all of the seeds. All of the seeds, because we used Miracle Grow. Like we used like the powdered, like for like general
regular
general
grow.
like general garden use, like Miracle Grow stuff.
You don't use stuff like that?
It burns out the roots. So
nice.
You need things with light nutrient, a little lighter nutrient. You don't want anything that has like numbers, like the NPK that you'll see on fertilizers, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The first number is always nitrogen. That's going to be for your veg phase. That's what you want the larger number for your first 2 to 4 months of a plant's life, and then for switching up the bloom phase, you're going to be using more phosphorus and potassium fertilizers. So that's what fuels the bloom growth, whereas the nitrogen is fueling the green, leafy, and branching of the plant.
Bro, Pete just said everything in the world. I'm about to watch this video again.
Dude, I'm telling you,
No cap.
it is a lot.
No